Hey everyone, welcome back to Called Anyway. So I am here today with a very special guest. I have been looking forward to doing this episode for a very long time. I would like for everyone to meet my daughter, Natalee.
Hello.
So, hey, how do you
Hey.
feel coming on talking about it?
I feel good. I feel comfortable.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay. So, everyone on the last episode, when I talked about everything that had happened to her, really it was just the high level overview, but here she is in true form, and as you can see, she is absolutely beautiful and she is coming from such a great place. And I just kind of wanted to have her on so we could talk about, you know, what does her trauma look like now? 4 years later, what does it look like now? I wanted to start by asking you, like in 2021, if you could go back and tell 14-year-old Natalee something, knowing full well what she's going to go through a year later, what would you tell her?
Communication is key, and that it's okay to talk to your parents and ask for help on things, even if you feel like you're a burden, such as mental health or getting. I struggled a lot with anger growing up, so having guilt with anger and all of that, and feeling like I couldn't talk to them, not because they made me feel like I couldn't talk to them, but because I felt so deep in my depression that I felt like nobody could fix me or my issues, even if I did talk to them. And just, I wish I could tell myself, just communicate, even if you feel like it goes nowhere.
Even when you feel like you can't
Yeah.
communicate,
Yeah.
just communicate.
Yes.
So that's so interesting. So I've talked on a couple of episodes already about how, when your trauma happened, you had run away before. Like this wasn't like a new thing. Not to say she was a bad kid or in a bad way or anything like that, but let's not pretend that we weren't without flaws and things like that. So what if you could go back? Obviously, I know you probably wouldn't have even left the game that night, 100%,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you went back. But what is something in looking at your trauma now through a lens 4 years later, 4 years clean, 4 years removed? What is one thing that dad and I did well? And what is one thing that you wish had been a little different?
Well, one thing that y'all do well, and I always tell people, is that y'all never stopped looking. Even I never had a doubt in my mind that you guys weren't looking, and I know that for a fact. And even when I was found, you informed me that y'all never stopped looking, and I told you that I never felt like you guys did
Mm-hmm.
ever. And something,
And that we
something,
had already been in Oklahoma for days.
yes, yes, days before I was even found.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, Something you guys could have done better. Um, Honestly, maybe just had more of like an open dialogue, and maybe just been like, we're here, and not just in a bombarding way, but in a way of, you have your space and come to us when you need to. And I felt like to a point there was a lot of control, but now that 4 years later, I see why there was so much
You
control.
understand it a little bit
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And, for me as a parent, I can easily look back on our trauma and say,
Mm-hmm.
well, I wish you hadn't run away the first time,
Yeah.
or the second, third, fourth, or fifth time. I wish you hadn't used drugs.
Yeah.
But I really think, and I think I say this way more off camera than I do on camera, but it really is God's faithfulness.
Yes.
Like our
Mm-hmm.
story, there is no doubt.
No doubt in my
No
mind.
doubt at all. Absolutely no doubt
Mm-hmm.
that this is God's faithfulness and his provision. Just him providing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an interview you did with Channel 11 with Ginger Allen, and you said, "I knew I was going to die."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Um, it was very dark and very sad to feel that way, but I knew that turning to God was going to be the answer either way, whether I stayed on this earth and He continued to bless my life and keep me alive, or I would go up to heaven with Him and be living with Him. So I gave it to Him and just let it be where it was with how he wanted it to be.
So you had completely reconciled the fact within yourself that either way, I'm going to live for him or with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
To this day, talking with her now, I can't imagine the heaviness of that. Like sad, but also like just reconciling within yourself. Like this is it. I'm either going to live for him or I'm going to go up and live with him.
Yes. Yep.
I can't imagine. And I talk to her all the time. She's one of my very best friends, but it's still sitting with her, sitting with the heaviness. Yeah. So in all of your aftercare after the trauma, I mean, guys, it was wilderness program, thumbs up to Open Sky. It was Open Sky. They were in Colorado and y'all went to Utah, like across. It was amazing. Unfortunately, they went out of business. Had we known, we would have invested in them substantially because you wanted to work there.
Yes, I loved it. Yes, it was everything. Like it was a lot. It was intense, but it was exactly what I needed in that moment.
So the wilderness program, we took her up there about just a few days after you had been home. And of course, I'm freaking out just as a mom. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? She's going through all this stuff. She needs to be with her mom. She doesn't need to be out in the wilderness. And I kept calling and checking in. And it was the first night. They said, we have one complaint. And I'm like, oh gosh, like what happened? And they said, she's bossy. And so apparently they would hike like 14 miles or something. And even at 1 to 3 to 5 days in, she was the leader of the pack. And she was complaining to the other girls that had already been there extensively, why can't you keep up? So if that gives you any indication to who our daughter is, that, that's her, the leader, the one saying, come on, if I can do this, we can all do this. And truthfully, if you could do it, not even a full week after a horrific event, anybody could do it. But okay, so wilderness, thumbs up. We did some inpatient therapies, but it was like residential treatment. I think you had told me before, we can't say the name, but I think you had told me before, good in theory and good, like good for you. So what is some of your feedback on some of the ones, you went to just in different states?
Some of the ones that I went in different states, I think were a little bit misleading.
Misleading to me or to you?
I think misleading to our whole family. And in some moments, in the moment that we went to these outpatients, I was looking for closure, people to help me with my mental state, with therapy, with making sure I was getting on my medications. And some places that I went to, there was just a bunch of girls that just didn't behave well. It wasn't that they had been raped or sexually assaulted or abused, which is great, good for them. But what we were told was not what the girls have been through, and it created a lot more drama than it was therapy, and it felt like a whole high school situation over again, just because there wasn't a full therapeutic reason for everybody being there.
I love that, a therapeutic reason. So because they marketed it to us as this program is just for survivors of sexual assault. And while that may have been true, truly, we're not discounting another survivor, but we are saying it might have been a little more behavioral, less about their trauma. And so here you are showing up with some really deep issues. And it's like, what's wrong with this girl?
Yeah. Like I felt 13-year-old angry Natalee fit there more than 15-year-old survivor needing therapy Natalee.
If it's any consolation prize, I will tell everyone. She told me there was movie night, and what was the movie they showed? Taken.
Yeah.
Knowing that there was a trafficking survivor in the house. But all that to say, I think you did have good therapists. Yes. You did have good therapists, but what was your issue? What was the one thing that you kept doing every time we would take you somewhere?
I would run.
She was a runner. So, and this time it was a different kind of running.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't running to be with friends or to go do something or for her own freedom. This was running as a trauma response. Mm-hmm. And I was taught that very early on because I got mad the very first time you ran, I think in Alabama. Mm-hmm. And I had said, what is she doing? Why is she doing this? And they stopped me and they said, this is a trauma response. Mm-hmm. This is not her being a jerk. This is not her, like you weren't doing it out of anything other than I can't be here. Yeah. So I need to go find where I can be. Here. Yes. So for 10 days, you were trafficked and abused and just taken advantage of in the worst possible ways. You were drugged. You get out, you're clean, you go to wilderness, the time of your life, honestly. And who knew, really? But the time of your life. And then you go into these treatment centers and you start running away from those. So what happened every time you would run?
Every time that I would run, I honestly wouldn't get anywhere. I would walk until I found a little city and I would sit around, be alone, do absolutely nothing until I realized I have no capability out here by myself. And I would either be found just walking on the street or I would call and be like, can you come pick me up? Because over time I just learned there was nothing out there and I'd find myself just walking.
Yeah. I mean, just walking and walking into other vulnerable populations and in situations that still were not helpful to your healing. If anything, I think they set you back. Yeah. So each time it was like another setback, another setback, another setback. But it was my community, our community, truthfully, of people that were pouring into us and saying, don't give up, don't give up. We do recover. And she did. I think it was in Utah and she decided to redo their PHP.
Yeah, I did it.
Their inpatient.
Yeah, I went to their inpatient once and then I went to their outpatient and then I ran away again. And then I went to their inpatient again and their outpatient. And in that outpatient, the psychiatrist was just telling me, Natalie, you have to get it together because nobody's going to be able to keep your life going and keep you motivated besides you. And it just kind of hit me. And I was just like, I don't really know how to stop, but I'm going to. And it helps I'm in a lockdown environment to be able to experiment with new things, such as learning to be around things that make me feel triggered to run, or learn how to communicate when something throws me off from what I was feeling 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Instead of just running away when things don't feel comfortable or don't feel right.
So the lockdown units, as like scary as that sounds, those you felt safer.
Yeah.
You felt safer.
I felt safer because I knew I couldn't run. And I also felt safer because if things happened in the unit that triggered me or other people, the staff would take care of it. Unlike unlike non-lockdown facilities where they can't really do anything besides do therapy and tell you strategies on how to calm yourself down or how to cope with emotions. But inpatients, they have the authority to restrain people who need to be restrained in some situations.
And you got mad a few times.
I got restrained myself. I got restrained myself. It just...
And didn't you peel a badge reader off the wall?
Yes, it happens there and it's fully okay. But that's why the staff are there, and it helps a lot to the other kids there to be able to have staff de-escalate the situation.
Absolutely. Instead of somebody running. So one of the main things, in Natalie's case was she was about to be 17. So then she was on the road to 18, and different states have different laws regarding that. And I think that was also part of that therapist saying, hey, you're going to be entering adult mental health stuff. Like if you can't fix it here, you're going to have to fix it here. You don't want to have to fix it here.
Yeah.
And so, Ashlyn has just really taken off over time. I've talked to so many other parents and they say, was Natalee ever involved in the juvenile justice system? And you weren't. And
almost, but not.
almost several times.
Mhm.
But honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why. Luck, God had another plan, the grace of God, because seriously, should CPS have gotten involved? Maybe, maybe. To be fair, should she have had to show up, in the juvenile courts and, maybe,
Probably.
maybe. And sometimes jail is safer.
Yeah.
In a weird, twisted way that I still can't reconcile to myself. Yeah. Sometimes jail is safer. So where are you now? Like where is your head at now? What are you doing?
What I'm doing good. One, and I'm going to college currently to become an EMT because I want to help people. All the things that I have gained from this is helping others and supporting others in any way that I can. So I want to become an EMT. And yeah, I'm just taking it step by step.
Well, what she's not saying is that she has become a fierce advocate herself. So me and my coworkers with Ashlyn, we do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of reaching out to survivors and doing the public speaking and stuff like that. She is not about to do that. No. But Ashlyn is a legacy. It's a legacy nonprofit company, if you will. And, I was just telling her this week, my goal is to leave it to her and her daughter. Yeah. And my granddaughters, like whoever. This is a legacy, and it is something that was placed on my heart in the most inopportune way, in the harshest way possible. But now, I think we're pretty fierce. I've done all the work and laying the path for her. But what she wants to do is jump in and kick down doors and go in there and rescue, these women and girls and say, what are you doing? You do not have to do this. What would you say right now if there was a survivor, sitting in front of you, whether she was out for 5 years or 5 days? What would you say?
I would say I'm proud of you. And two, I would say a part of you feels missing now, but if you take the steps that everybody is saying to work on yourself and get close with God, make sure you take your medication, make sure you stay on the paths that seem highly unreasonable for you. And if you just keep sticking to the things that bring you joy or bring you happiness and fully committing to letting go of the things that no longer provide for you, and just learn to love yourself and be kind and patient with yourself and have grace.
Ugh. I can tell you 5 years ago, never would have dreamed of sitting here with her, telling her to tell other or listening to her tell others to have grace for themselves. I think I taught you at a very young age that, we want to give grace to, we want to give grace to each other. And sometimes when you're in trouble, you would be like, can I just have grace? Yeah, I would. And, sometimes that would work, sometimes not. But I'm here for it. Yes. I am here for all the things. So I just want to ask you, what are some things that bring you joy?
My family, my dog, of course.
Oh, Gunner.
And just the ability to just keep going even when life has thrown curveball after curveball after curveball at me. And just knowing I have a good support system behind me even when I think I didn't.
Yeah. Well, she is beautiful, and we love you immeasurably more than you could even understand. And as much as we love you, you know that your Heavenly Father loves you so much more. Yes. And I have had some conversations here recently with other moms and things like that, and just about the teen years. And I would pass along and say, God redeems all that He allows. So when bad things happen, I think He is sad also. Like He is sad with you. He is sad with us. But He's going to use it for good. And a couple years ago, I couldn't have told you that he would use it for good. Even knowing he would, I didn't know what good looked like. It certainly didn't look like you living independently, going to school, getting your GED, just being this fierce advocate that you are. I never would have seen that. To be honest and to be frank, I thought that we may be in a situation where we would have to take care of you for the rest of your life, because I didn't know what your mental state was ever going to be. I mean, how could you look past everything that had happened? And I think you don't look past it. You look through it, and you look through it at a lens of, if I can get through that, I can get through whatever. I can get through anything. Like, honestly. I will end with this. So my son, her brother, Christian, always says that you are the strongest person he knows. And I hope that you still wear that as a badge of honor, because you are not a victim. You are a survivor, and you are a warrior, and you are still making waves and making changes, even when you don't see it.
Yeah.
She told me, if my story can just touch one person, that's all I asked for. And it's touching way more than I think you even know. So
I'm grateful for that.
But thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. Your little influencer self.
Oh my gosh.
But thank you. So just remember, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And we're called anyway. We're called because of what happened to us. We don't want it to happen to you. But everybody has their own journey. So thank you. We'll see you on the next episode.
Subscribe.